Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to be looking at sketching hyperbolas. Now the first thing I want you to think about, a basic hyperbola is 1 divided by x. Now, the major thing I want you to think about with hyperbolas is that there is a line that we use and it's called a asymptote. Now that links to the denominator. Now there's one thing that we can't have in the denominator, and that is we can't divide it by 0. If you get your calculator up and you divide anything by 0, it will come up with an error. We can't do it. So we try to avoid that. So if I am drawing a graph, first thing I'm thinking about is, okay, well, what value can I not have? So here, the denominator can't be 0. So because of that, I'm going to have an asymptote at when x equals 0. So all the way down here, my graph cannot touch. It will never touch that point. Same if I look at y equals 3 divided by x plus 2. For me to have the bottom, the denominator, to equal 0, x must be negative 2. So that means my graph, when x is negative 2, I cannot have my graph touching this point. It will never touch that point. And that is called an asymptote. So now we know that. Now we're going to be graphing and sketching our graph. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to grab some points. And I'm going to go, okay, well, x and y, -4, -3, -2, -1. I know it can't hit, all be close, but it'll never hit 0. So I'll ignore that one and go straight to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now from that, we are going to be plugging these into our graph. If x is -4, that's 2 divided by -4. 2 divided by 4 is, well, it's a half, negative a half, or 0.5. Then I've got -3 plug in, that is -2 over 3. When x is -2, well, that is 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it becomes negative 1. And then 2 divided by -1, simple. 2 divided by -1 is, well, 2 divided by 1 is 2, and I've got a negative. So I've got my points for that first side. So on my graph, I'm just going to put some of those points down. I've got x, -1, -2, -3, and -4. Now, on my y-axis, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got all my points down now. So now I'm going to solve it. So when I have x is -4, which is here, my y is -1/2. Then it goes -3 is -2/3. And when it's -2, it is -1. Then when I get to -1, I go to -2. When x is so when x is -1, I go to -2. So you can see my graph is going like this, and then it's starting to turn up, and it's going to go all the way down. So it will never touch that point there. Now, let's have a look at this side. When x is 1, 2 divided by 1 is 2. When x is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. When x is 3, 2 divided by 3 is 2/3. And x is 4, it turns into a half. Exactly the same on the other side, it's just a positive. So when x is 1, it's 2. If I do a half, x would be 4. When x is 2, y is 1. Then it goes to 2/3, and then it goes to a half. So I've got my graph on this side here. I know that it's going very close and it'll never touch 0 when y equals 0. That's one thing it will never touch. So I really hope that helps you out with this, and we're going to go over to this one now. So now, remember what we said with our asymptote? Because the bottom cannot equal 0, we had to work out, well, when does it equal 0? And that is our asymptote, which I've got here, which is -2. And again, all we are going to be doing is we are going to be substituting our values into our graph for x and for y. So I'm going to use the same values as I did before, -2. Can't do -2, so I'll change it to -1. Actually, because of we're starting more over this side, I'm going to go -6, -5, -4, -3, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So let's have a go with this. So when x is -6, -6 plus 2 is -4. So it becomes -3/4. When x is -5, -5 plus 2 is -3. 3 divided by -3 is -1. Then we got -4. So -4 plus 2 is -2. So then we got 3 divided by -2, so -1.5. Then we got -3 here. So we've got -3 plus 2. So what's -3 plus 2 is -1. So 3 divided by -1 is -3. So that kind of shows us what one part of our graph is doing. And the other part, we've got -1 plus 2. -1 plus 2 is 1. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Then we've got 0. 0 plus 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So it's doing exactly the same thing, but just on the other side. 1, and it'll be 3/4. So we know it's not going to be touching -2. That is our asymptote. Now we look at this graph and we are going to put all our information on. So first thing I'm going to do is put all of my points, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -1, 0, 1, 2. Same with my y, I'm going to put some of my points on, or make it bigger so we can see, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when x is -6, which is here, y is -3.25. When x is -5, it is -1. When x is -4, y is 1.5. when x is negative 3, y is negative 3, all the way down here. So what's happening at the moment is we've got this going on. It will never touch this asymptote. We can also look at the other side. When we have x is negative 1, our y is 3. When x is 0, we are 1.5. When x is 1, it is 1. And when x is 2, we are 3/4. And that shows us our graph. So, and there you have it. If you need any extra help with sketching, feel free to message me and I'll get back to you. But one thing I want you to remember is make sure you think about our denominator. That is where our asymptote is. And that's where our graph cannot touch.